Welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most viewed, underviewed YouTube channel of all time. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air. This is your host, the most charismatic man in entertainment. And we got a controversial issue we're going to talk about, something that's been trending in the headlines, sparked a lot of controversy through media, through Hollywood, through Twitter, of course. So Gina Carano, as we all know, if you don't know her, she is one of the stars of Star Wars: The Mandalorian, available on Disney Plus. Subscription required, of course. Um, this is not the first time she's been in hot water with the public. This won't be the last time. And this time, she caused a straight controversy, something that I don't think her career will survive. So, basically, to sum up her comments that she made a post on Instagram talking about freedom of speech, which I agree is an issue. But my issue, and everybody's issue for the most part, is she compared people's uh, political views being uh, disrespected to the Holocaust, to Jews being slaughtered by the millions by Nazi Germany. What was she thinking? I mean, what was she thinking? Did she think that was going to be all right? That was going to just, slide down down the path. Nobody was going to pick that up. I mean, what did she think was going to happen to her career? So, she's upset that Star Wars, Lucas Films and Productions, fired her for her comments. I can't blame them because these kind of comments are stuff that they will get in trouble for. Marvel, Disney Plus are gonna be looking at them sideways, like, so what are we doing here? Are you gonna just let this slide? Are you gonna just let this roll? This is not the first time Hollywood has taken a stance like this before. People are upset that she got fired, right? Cancel culture at its finest, right? Now, I normally don't support cancel culture, but in this instance, I do, right? Harley Sawyer is a prime example. The dude from The Flash, who's made rape jokes on Twitter, who's made minority jokes on Twitter, jokes that aren't funny and very offensive. Now, I'm one to push the boundaries. I consider myself a comedian, a sit down comedian, not stand up. But even this, for me, this lines I won't cross, right? I will never compare freedom of speech to the persecution and slaughter of millions of people, right? And this is a common thing we're experiencing right now is people feel oppressed, right? They feel oppressed by the government, by our society, and the first thing they do is go back to our past, right? It's one of the problems I have with groups. Not I'm not going to name them because I know it's going to start trouble, but a lot of groups nowadays always compare their struggle to the black struggle, to the Jew struggle, and that is a slap in the face to these people, myself included, because I am a black man. I mean, look at me. The police see me. What you're experiencing is not the same as being beaten, raped, enslaved, bought for $1, being transferred from white man to white man, white family to white family, picking cotton for free, sitting in the sun for 12-hour days, dehydrated, not getting food, getting whipped, getting chained up, getting beat down. That is not the same as your freedom of speech being suppressed. That is a slap in the face to people. And what she said, it's not so much that I don't agree with her stance on freedom of speech. I think it is an issue we're facing right now. Hate speech and all of these different big tech companies are blocking people, censoring people because of their opinions and ideas. It is an issue. But what is also issue is how she addressed it. Yes, your freedom of speech is probably being suppressed because, as we know, being conservative, especially in Hollywood, is not looked. It's not welcomed, right? We all know that. It's well documented. But that's not the same as these Jews and their families, their daughters, their sons, their wives, their mothers, their kids, their fathers being put in gas chambers, slaughtered in the streets by the million just because of who they are and what they look like. That is a slap in the face to all these people. And I don't blame Lucasfilms for doing what they did. Why? Because no matter where you go in Hollywood too, there's a Jewish producer, there's a Jewish director. Marvel probably have Jewish owners. They probably have Jewish uh, investors, right? They see these kind of comments, they don't want to be associated with that. It's disrespectful. It's a slap in the face. And what she said was completely wrong. There's no way how you slice it or dice it. You cannot compare your freedom of speech to the mass murder of millions of people. You can't do that, and there's no way you can justify it. And I know, Ben Shapiro. I've been a big fan of Ben Shapiro, right? I've been a follower of his. I do agree with a lot of things he said, but I can't agree with him on his stance. It's not freedom of speech, right? Now, I will attest she has the right to say that. It is kind of freedom of speech that she has the right to say that, but it's also not freedom of being persecuted for, uh, or I should say, they're not free from the consequences of what you say, right? She has the right to say that, but Lucasfilms, Star Wars, Disney Plus, Hollywood has the right to say we don't want you here no more. You're not welcome for those comments. And you know, people are screaming oppression and holding people down and cancel culture. Well, in this instance, I am not upset. I'm not upset because what she said was very offensive to millions of Jews around the world who had to listen or read those comments. It's disgusting. And there's no way how you slice it, dice it. It is disrespectful. And now her career is going to suffer. So when you see her bagging your groceries at Whole Foods, you know why. There's no coming back from this. Ain't nobody going to want to hire anymore. Let me take a puff of her career because it's over. I don't support, like I've talked about cancel culture, right? It is an issue. People getting canceled for stuff they said 30 years ago. It's like, come on, people grow up, right? But this is a common theme with a lot of people in our society, right? Comparing their struggle to the struggle of people who were oppressed. You cannot do that. That is very hard to make a case for that. It's hard to sympathize with that, right? A white guy, right, who grows up in the slums of Texas in the middle of nowhere can't go out and say, "Well, I know what it's like to be black," in the 1950s. No, you don't. No, you don't. I know I don't. I'm not saying I was a slave, but I also know my ancestors were those kind of people. My ancestors were slaves. They were passed around. They were sold on ships. They were passed around from family to family to do dirty work and the cooking, the cleaning, and the picking cotton for no wage, and then raped, and then no, no, you can't do that. And I'm a big proponent of freedom of speech. I think people should have the right to say whatever they want. I don't think hate speech is a thing. I don't think we need more government to legislate freedom of speech. I will attest to her saying that. But I also don't think you're free from the consequences of what you say. Just like for me, if I say something offensive that someone don't like, then you have the right to report me, right? Nobody has the right to say whatever they want without consequences. And now you're seeing this uprise from her. Instead of apologizing, instead of saying that I didn't mean to make it that controversial or I didn't mean to offend people that much, right? Maybe it was taken out of context. Maybe I'm being hard on her, right? But instead of doing that, Hollywood won't hold me down. The only way, they're gonna, stop my career is if I let them. And what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Your career's over. It's over. It's done. You'd be lucky to find a McDonald's job, right? So, like I said, I don't support cancel culture a lot of times because people will be getting persecuted in front of the public for things they said when they were kids, right? I'm in my 20s now. When I'm 40, I'm not going to think the same I do now. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I don't want my opinions from 10 years ago if reflecting who I am today, because we all grow up, right? But what she just said will never be forgotten. People will always remember this quote because it's it's the exact issue we have as people. Everybody feels oppressed. Everybody feels like they're being held down by the white man. It could be the case, but you can't compare your struggle to what the Jews went through. You cannot compare your struggle to what blacks went through and still going through. People still look down on Jews. People still look down on black people, but you also don't see them running around screaming, "Oh, you know, I feel like I'm being persecuted." We don't even do that. Yes, there's some that feel that way, but we don't even do that. Why? Because we know what our past is. We've I won't say accepted it, but we've learned about it. And now we're trying to build the future for ourselves. But this is a common thing nowadays, especially with people with privilege and power, that the first thing they do when things don't go their way, they compare their struggle to the struggle of minorities. Rest in peace to her career. It's done. It's done. Um, this is just a lesson that everybody can learn. Watch what you say, because we all know you're going to be held accountable, especially when you're famous. You're going to be held to those standards and you're going to be held accountable for what you say. And it seems by the way how it's going, she don't care. She feels like it's freedom of speech and she has the right to say what she wants. That's fine. I support freedom of speech, but I also support the idea that you're not going to get another job in Hollywood no more. Your acting career is done. You're probably not going to get another MMA fight. It's over. Nobody wants to work with you anymore, especially in that kind of field. So, you know, let's hope the money don't dry up soon. Because if it does, she's gonna be strapped for cash. And when you see her bagging your groceries or doing Amazon delivery, just say hi for me, right? But thank you guys for tuning to another episode. I normally don't like to get this harsh with people, but this is something that we can't be letting this fly. You let her fly, then everybody else feel like they can get away with it too. And we have to cut it right at the head. No, you're not allowed to say whatever you want, do whatever you want, and not have consequences. So, thank you guys for listening to the most charismatic man himself. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm being too hard. I'm sure there's people who might agree with her. That's fine. We can always discuss. I'm not hell bent on murdering her career. I'm not. But it is what it is. It's over. Hollywood ain't hiring no more. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.